All right, welcome everybody to tonight's training. Thanks for jumping on. We are at some exciting times with our famous Gnodi blockchain. A couple of things that I wanted to bring to your attention if you didn't see it already. I think most of us on here have seen it. But first thing, of course, being that our parent company, Blockchain, the leadership team is in the Philippines right now, getting deals done and signing things and bringing more value to the community and of course the Nodi blockchain and all that. So that is cool because it goes to show that what we're part of is not just a hope and dream kind of thing. It's happening, right? It's happening. There's real interest from real entities, from governments to other institutions, and super fun to be able to see how this is going across the globe. And it's not just Cirrus. It's not just the networking affiliate marketing arm part of it all. It's actually Blockchain parent company, soon to be public on the stock exchange company, bringing real products and services to a real blockchain that's a layer one, that's only one of, we'll just call it 40 in the world, right? And that's not something to laugh at. I mean, that is some legit stuff happening. And then we just happen to have an amazing opportunity to be part of the marketing side of it, which allows us to earn daily rewards, obviously for participation, but also weekly and monthly commissions as we spread the word about how cool this amazing project is. So lots of legitimacy, and it's just going to keep getting better. And of course, the other big thing that just got announced a little bit ago is that we now have our official new light paper. It's not the white paper because the full white paper, I think they're developing it in the background still, but the light paper covers the basics, right? The basics of what it is we're doing, what Gnodi is all about. And so if you haven't seen it, it's available in your back office or at gnodipowered.com. You can go download it there, read through it. It's kind of long. I was surprised how long it is, but lots of good information there. So I think probably what will happen is I will train on that this upcoming Saturday because we're going to start our Saturday trainings again. So now that came out, people are going to have questions and want to understand it. So that will likely be the topic for our Saturday training, is the Gnodi light paper and what it's all about. So look forward to that. That'll be fun. But in the meantime, it's interesting. I just keep getting questions about how the compensation works from all over the place. And in fact, I just had I signed up a new person. He signed up yesterday, but we've kind of been going over a bunch of things today. He bought a node and got involved and stuff. And so, all the questions came up of, well, how does this work? And how does the compensation plan work? And, I've been following you all this time, and I'm finally ready to go and be part of this. And so, so I thought, yeah, why not go through a refresher? We did this a couple months ago, but there's new people, and obviously not everybody saw what we did 2 months ago. So thought it would be good to kind of revisit this topic of sales and compensation concepts with Cirrus Networks, because that's how we are involved. We're basically, there's two ways to participate in all of this. One is to be a Gnodi owner, right? Digital landlord, and participate in the blockchain community and just deal with rewards and tokens. The other is to be a Cirrus rep, right? And actually earn dollars, commissions for bringing people to the table and allowing them to buy nodes and buy the different products that we offer. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll dive into this again just as a refresher and answer any questions along the way. If you do have questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in the chat, and we are going to, let's see, I'm going to try and change the view. There we go, immersive, so that all we see is the screen, because I know when you're watching other people, it can be kind of annoying. So we'll put it right to the presentation so there's no distractions. All right, so Cirrus Networks, again, we are part of the sales and marketing arm of BlockRain, which is the parent company, with a blockchain called the Gnodi blockchain, which is powered by a DAO, which is a digital autonomous organization, which it means all of us that are involved and have digital landlordship there have a vote and a say, and participate and earn rewards for our participation, which is great. But we can also participate by being ambassadors, right? And it's really cool because, of course, Cirrus Networks and the compensation plan is an exciting opportunity that rewards us for selling the products and for sponsoring other affiliates or associates who do the same. Okay, so this is a different disclaimer than we usually share. Although this opportunity is unlimited, we have to say that the results will vary depending on all kinds of things, right? From market conditions to commitment levels to sales skills from each individual. Okay, so there's no guarantees, no promises, but just like anything, if you stick with it and you go crazy with it, and you invite a lot of people to it, and you have a little bit of luck with it, guess what? You can make some decent money with the compensation model. So that is why we're so excited. So the first question then, of course, is why is this not a pyramid scheme, right? A lot of people are going to ask, why is this legitimate? Why isn't it registered with the SEC and all those things? And the answer is very simple. It's because we're selling products, right? I mean, that's the bottom line, right? If you go buy Adobe Photoshop from Adobe, you're just buying a software license that allows you to use that software, right? If you buy a computer, okay, you're getting a license to use Windows or a license to use Mac operating system on your computer, right? And so just any kind of technology requires software, and they all have licenses, and you're paying for them one way or another. Okay, and that's what we're doing. We are selling software and digital services. Okay, yeah. That is what we do. So that's why it's not it doesn't have to be registered with the SEC, and that's why it's not a pyramid, because we're not taking people's money and just paying it back out and hoping that it doubles overnight or whatever. No, that's not what we're doing. We're saying, hey, here's a software or here's a product that you would use anyway, and do you want to purchase it? And you can purchase it on subscription, and then you earn a commission, a certain percentage of that sale, right? That is legitimate sales, and that's what we're doing. So we're not a money grab, because we're not investing. We're not promising any kind of return or any kind of guarantee, any of those things, right? And then the final piece of it is, of course, when we do sell these software products, well, they are attached to a blockchain, and blockchains are programmed to distribute digital rewards every day to either node owners or micro node owners, right? Which is the different services that we have. But that's a whole different story. That is, those digital rewards could be worth nothing. They could be worth something. It just depends on the utility and the demand of those rewards, right? And so as long as there's legitimate utility and legitimate demand for those, then there might be people on a separate marketplace that would want to purchase those and give them some value, okay? But again, there's no guarantees, there's no promise, there's no idea of, guaranteed passive income on the reward. No. So that's why we don't have to be registered with the SEC, because we're not taking any investment or security money and putting it into a pool or some other thing that, we expect it to generate any kind of return, because there's not. right? All you're getting is digital rewards, and those digital rewards could be nothing. They could be worth something, or they could be worth a lot. It just depends on what's going on. Okay. And so as long as you understand that, then hey, we're good to go. So the long term, right? Those rewards, hey, we hope that they have some value. But in the short term, what do? We earn commissions from sales of products and services. So how do you do that? Well, you can become an affiliate, which is an independent representative who has enrolled as an affiliate and participates in just a one level affiliate commission plan. Or you can be an associate, which is an independent representative who now participates in the multi-level associate commission plan. Or you can just be a customer, right? You can just be somebody that signs up and decides, you know what, I just want to get one of the products that are amazing, whether that's owning a node or one of the bundles or just safe for $10 a month, right? It doesn't matter. So customers can do that too. And because maybe that's all they're interested in is just getting daily rewards. Okay. So simple as that. You decide where you fit, what's best for you. It's free, completely free. You choose any of those three options and it's completely free to join and get a position. And, then after that, there are some requirements if you're an associate or an affiliate to be able to earn commissions. Customers, it's just use the products, right, and get rewarded. But for associates and affiliates, we'll talk about what those requirements are. So first thing we need to know is that we have something called our personal enrollment tree. Okay, so some people in the past have called this, their directs or their front line, or lots of different terms for this. But in the end, it's just people that you have personally brought to the table. Okay, you've invited them, you've sent them your enrollment link, right? So there's a website. And you send it to them and they go through the enrollment process. They put in their name, their phone number, their email, their address, all the stuff, right? They choose a username, they create a password, all the typical things. And now they have a position in the structure, okay? And that is for you, a personally enrolled individual, okay? So that person is now frontline to you or on your personal enrollment tree. And you can now, work with them directly, and that it's your responsibility. So when somebody is personally enrolled by you, right? You're the enroller, and it's your job to make sure that they have all the information they need, that they're kept up to date, that any problems or issues that you're there to support them, right, and to train them and work with them, all those things. Okay, that's what it means. And it's it's sometimes heavy responsibility, but if you take it seriously, then what's going to happen is those individuals are going to be excited and they're going to have information that they can then share with other people, and that's how you build your team, right? And so that is then the next kind of topic that we want to talk about, which is our placement tree or our team building structure, right? So our team building structure, it usually mirrors your enrollment tree unless you optionally choose to place someone, to move someone under somebody else. Okay. So you do have that option, and it's, there's no one way to do this. Some people would be of the opinion that you'd never want to place people, and that you should just, enroll people, frontline, have as many direct frontline people to you as possible, and, just keep them tight, to you. Others would opine that, nope, that's crazy. You need to build under other people and help them out and be charitable and, those kinds of things. But then you run that risk of, well, what if I place them and then they don't do anything, right? So there's never a perfect answer. But in general, the kind of the idea and the I think the consensus would be that you only place people for specific reasons. Meaning, number one, maybe they already know each other, right? Maybe they're relatives, or maybe they're friends or something, and so you say, yeah, well, I'll enroll them, but then, hey, you know what? You guys know each other. You could work together well, so I'm going to place them together, right? Or it could be for geographics. Oh, this person lives in Mexico, and this new person I just enrolled is in Mexico, so let's put them together. They can work together and build Mexico. Or language, right? These two speak French, and so let's put them together because they both speak French. So there are reasons. There's opportunities for that. Or simply, it could be because you want to build where there's fire, right? You may have heard that phrase before. And that idea is that you want to keep the fire going, right? If you got some kindling going, then, hey, you want to put a little bit more and put some, logs on that fire so it grows and builds. And so if you see somebody that's kind of going for it, right? Then you say, hey, I just enrolled this other person, and so I'm going to enroll them under this guy that's really building, and create some momentum there, right? And so that's another reason why you might want to start placing people, is to create some of that momentum and build where there's excitement. Okay, so there's that it just depends. Totally depends. Others might say, you know what, this is my best friend. I finally got him to sign up after 2 years of insisting, and I wanted to be just right up there next to me and work with him. Great. Keep him frontline to you. Okay. So just every situation is going to be different. You just have to kind of look at it, analyze it, and decide what is the best way to do it. Okay. So after that, let's see. So here's kind of a graphical, right, of that. And so you can see what's going on. Okay. So and when you enroll, this is your personal enrollment network, right? And what's going to happen is you're now going to enroll somebody. Okay. And they're going to go on your first line. So persons 1, 2, and 3 are right there, direct to you. And we'll go into this a little bit more later, but you're earning 20% on anything they buy. They buy a safe subscription for $10, you earn $2. They buy an Omni, bundle for $50, you earn $10. They buy a mini node for $100, you earn $20, right? So on. So, and then if they renew, next month, then you earn that again, right? Pretty cool. Okay. So in our compensation plan, technically, you can get all the way to the very top rank of the entire compensation plan with just 3 legs, right? You can. Okay. Now, is that advisable? Is that the best way to do it? Maybe, maybe not. Again, like I said, it just depends. It depends on who it is you're working with, who you're enrolling. Some people say, oh, I want to put 20 frontline to me. Well, okay, you could. That's a lot to work with, though, right? It's probably better, if possible, to place or even give away sponsorship. It's up to you, just depending on how well you know them. But I think just being charitable, being a little bit more, hey, let's, place some people, let's create some momentum, all that is a better way to do it, right? So we're just going to assume that all we're doing is building 3 legs right now. So then what's going to happen is those 3 people you brought in are also going to go try and find some people, right? They just want to go enroll some people and share the good news about Cirrus and Gnodi and what we're doing and earning daily rewards and all that stuff. So they enroll some people. But then, you're a go-getter, right? You're setting goals. You're not satisfied with just 3. So you're going to go get a 4th and a 5th and a 6th person. You could place them, right? You could place them down on that second level underneath the first 3, create some excitement. Hey, good job on enrolling somebody. I'm going to give you somebody, that kind of thing, right? So you're building that structure out, and now they're excited. They're earning a little bit of commissions, and they're like, hey, thank you for doing that. And you're working together, right? You're having your team meetings and strategizing and talking. And then guess what happens? Well, you're going to enroll some more people. They're going to enroll some more people, right? And so on. And it's going to go into that 3rd level, okay? 3rd level of structure. And that's exciting. It's super fun to see how it starts to grow and develop. People are buying nodes. People are getting their subscriptions. These commissions are happening on a weekly basis. And so hey, I'm going to go get some more. You go and get a ninth person and a 10th person, right? And you place them down below. You want to help build that fire. Okay. So it just keeps going. So if it was a perfect three, person across thing all the way down 10 levels, guess what? You'd have over 88,000 people in your organization. If that's all that happened, is just people on average got about three. Okay. Well, and here at Cirrus, you could do way better than that, right? Most people can get several, right? Because how cool these products actually are and how much better they are than the competition. So it can actually start to duplicate and to turn into something very significant. Now, here's what happens with customers. This is so cool because you might say, you know what, I've got somebody, all they want is meeting. Somebody, maybe a pastor or somebody that does trainings or somebody, who knows, right? A teacher, somebody that's paying for Zoom. And you just say, you know what? I've got a way better offering. Meeting's way better. It's for the same amount of money. You're getting more features, more options, and you're getting daily rewards. So why wouldn't you want to use this instead? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. So boom. And they go get it. They make the switch. You're getting customers or somebody that wants stacks, right? We got all these testimonials of people saving money on travel now, which is really cool. So they're doing the stacks thing, right? They're saving money going out to dinner. They're going, maybe they're just wanting to go. Just paint this scenario in your mind, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to Target and I'm getting my groceries at Target. I'm getting the eggs, I'm getting the bread, I'm getting the milk. Maybe I got to pick up some laundry detergent, whatever it is, right? Just, okay, I'm going to Target to get some stuff. And maybe it's $100. Well, you go into your stacks, you get the gift card, you're saving, let's just call it 2%, right? Because you're using stacks. So 2%, is that a big deal? Not super big deal, maybe, right? On a $100 purchase, 2%, it's only $2, right? You're not saving a whole bunch, really. But what are you getting? You're getting one-to-one rewards. You're getting 100 rewards for a purchase you were going to do anyway. Okay. So it makes sense. Why? Because we know that those tokens, that 100, tokens you just got for your purchase at Target, is then potentially going to turn into something more down the road, right? Because it all adds up. And the other cool thing is that the person you sponsored, so you go sponsor Emily, and Emily goes to Target and she buys her groceries. Well, you get 50% every time she goes to Target, right? Or every time she goes to Starbucks, or every time she goes to let's say Olive Garden, or whatever, right? You're getting 50% every time she does that. She's saving money. She's earning money. You're earning tokens, and you're earning 50% of whatever she's doing. And that's how it works. So super cool, just on the stacks. So you can get a whole bunch of customers just on those things. And what happens is every time they pay their subscription, maybe they're paying just for safe, right? $10 a month, whatever. Well, all of that is tied to a single position. Okay. So those first three people you got, maybe they go out and they get like 10 customers. Okay. They don't even have to go and roll other associates. Maybe they just are really good at getting customers. Maybe you find an influencer, right? Somebody that, has a good following on Instagram or something. And they go and, they do a video on TikTok, and all of a sudden they get 100 customers signing up for, stacks, right? Well, guess what? All those 100 customers are attached to that first person. So guess what? You earn 20% on all of that. How cool is that? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So you go work with your direct people, right? You work with Tom and Marcy and Emily here, right? And Tom and Marcy and Emily, you teach them to go get all these customers. Why? Because now you're earning 20%, not just on 3 people. You're earning 20% on maybe like 100 people, right? All these customers, right? And all the customers you get 20% on them, right? Because the customers don't go in the structure. The customers are like little moons that orbit around the actual position, right? So you got all these customers and you get to earn that 20% on all of them that are on your front line. Okay. So really cool concept there. All right, so customers are important. We want to go after them for sure. And then, of course, we show 10 levels, even though our compensation plan is only 6 levels. But because of dynamic compression, you could easily earn on levels 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond, right? Just depending on what's going on. And those levels could have lots of people on them. So between all the customers and all the people potentially down through 10 levels, that's a lot of people to be earning money on. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next concept. So every sale that happens, right, whether they're buying a safe subscription or buying a node or whatever, that produces something called CV, or commissionable volume. Okay. So, and it's 1-to-1, which is really cool, right? In fact, it's sometimes even a little bit more than 1-to-1, because sometimes the price is like, 1,197, but you're actually getting 2,000 CV, right? Or volume on that, because they just round it up. Okay. So same thing, safe 999, but you're getting 10. Okay. So they always round it up to the nearest dollar. And that's what they calculate that commission on. So 20%, right? You're earning it on the actual commissionable volume, not on the actual dollar amount. So you don't get 20% of 1,197, you get 20% of 1,200, okay, which is awesome. So very easy to understand and do the math on those, okay? Now, the other concept that's super important to understand is that as an affiliate or as an associate, you do have to have a certain amount of what we call personal volume that qualifies you. Okay. So to earn on one level of commissions, right, or one level of structure, you do need to have 50 personal volume, meaning that between you and your customers, there needs to be a total of $50 of purchase in a month period. So you could do that yourself with a $50 Omni bundle, or you could do that by getting 2 meeting subscriptions and 1 safe subscription with some customers. Okay. Or you could do a combination, right? Where you could say, okay, I'm getting meeting, and then I got 1 meeting customer and 1 safe customer, right? Just any combination. It could be all customer volume, it could be all your volume, or it could be any combination that needs to be at least 50 to earn on 1 level of compensation. Then as you rank up, right, as you go to the next rank, so cloud 1 through cloud 9 and then beyond, you do have to have 100 volume. So 100 PV, personal volume. So then again, you have the choice. You could get, for example, an Omni Plus subscription, which would personally give you 100 volume, or you could get yourself on just an Omni for 50 and then another customer on an Omni, or you could get yourself on an Omni and then get 2 meeting customers and a safe customer, right? Any combination that adds up to 50 and then 100 will qualify you for what we call being active, right? Or being qualified for commissions, okay? And then there's group volume, or GV, which is just all the volume coming from anybody in your enrollment tree. And that's the group volume is important for ranking, right? So we'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so here's kind of how this looks. Now, if you're at the top here, right, and you're looking kind of down 10 levels below you, okay, the way you have to think of it is that it's this every sale then goes up the tree. Okay, so a sale that's happening down 10 levels below in your structure, right? So let's say there's a customer down there on level 10. Well, that customer, they purchase a product. Let's say they bought an Omni bundle, right? An Omni Plus that has 100 volume. Okay, so what does it do? Well, the way it calculates the commission on that is it's going to look down, it actually starts 1 level above, and it just kind of asks these 2 questions. Number 1, is the person right above, are they active? Yeah. Okay. Does that mean, in other words, do they have 50 volume? Okay. And if so, yes, great. And then are they an associate? Yes. Okay, perfect. They get paid, right? They get their 20%. Okay. Then it goes up from there to the next tier, and it's asked the same question. Is this person active? Do they have, in this case, they need 100, right? So are they active with 100 volume? Yes, great. Are they at least Cloud 2 qualified, right? Is that their rank? Because Cloud 2 is what opens up 2 levels of pay. So if the answer is yes, they're a Cloud 2, then great, they get the commission. Okay, then it goes to the next level, same question. Are they active? Are they a Cloud 5? Because you got to be a Cloud 5 to open up 3 levels of commission. So yes, great, they get paid. Then it goes to the next one. Are they active? Yes. But are they a Cloud 7? Okay, Cloud 7 is a little bit harder to come by, right? You got to have lots more volume and everything. So since they're not a Cloud 7, guess what? They get skipped. So this is what we call compression. Okay, so the compression means it says nope, they're not going, they don't qualify, so it goes to the next one, and it just goes to the next one all the way until it finds somebody that is active and is a Cloud 7, right? And then at that point it pays, and so on all the way up to you. Okay, are you active with 100? Yes. Are you a Rainmaker 2 rank to open up, all the levels? Yes. Great, you get the commission. Okay, so that is there's 2 things. There's dynamic compression, which is based on active, and then there's special compression, which is based on rank. Okay, so number 1, dynamic compression, are they active, or do they have their 50 or 100 volume? Number 2, special compression, do they have the rank necessary to get paid that many levels deep? If not, it skips and goes to the next. That's why we say you could literally get paid on 20 or more levels deep, just depending on who's ranked at what. Okay, are they active and are they qualified to earn that commission? Okay, so potential, if you build this thing and you get some volume and you go and build a huge team, you could have thousands of people that you're getting paid on, even though it's only 6 levels. Okay, and then there's something called a generation, and now this is where we come into one of my favorite bonuses, which is check matching. So check matching is really, really cool for those who want to make the big money. Okay, this is where now you're earning 10% of all the checks on everyone in your entire first generation. Now, a generation is not a level. Okay, so you can see it graphically here, where a generation is actually everybody that is not the same rank as you or above, right? So if let's say you're a Cloud 5, okay, so you now earn 10% of all these people that are earning checks, right? They might make $1,000, $500, $200, whatever it is. You're getting 10% of whatever they're making, okay, on all of them. All of it could be hundreds of people in your first generation or more, eventually thousands, right? And the only way you get cut off is when one of those people hits the same rank as you. So if you're a Cloud 5, okay, then if someone else, so like if this guy right here, if he becomes a Cloud 5, then that's what starts your second generation, right? So anybody that's then a Cloud 5, so this guy, he becomes a Cloud 5. So, okay, boom, cuts off, right? And now all this is second generation. And then what happens is, oh, you're going up, right? You're now a Cloud 7, maybe they're Cloud 6, and then these guys are Cloud 5s, right? So you're earning on all these generations, and it could literally be tens of thousands of people that you're getting 10% of their check. It's so cool. And so that's why this is where the big money is made, right? This is where you really, I mean, your own check would be pretty decent, but when you can earn 10% of your entire organization's check, oh my goodness. So that's why it's so attractive to get to at least Cloud 5, which isn't super hard, and now you're earning on all that. So really cool concept, and I know it seems kind of complicated, but yeah, generations are not the same thing as levels, and it allows you to earn on a whole lot more people. Okay. Next concept that you need to understand is leg max. And this is where I mentioned that you can technically get all the way to the very top rank in the company with just 3 legs because you have a rule that basically says you can only, it goes to 40%, right? So 40% meaning that's why you would have to have a third leg to because the way it works is this. So you have a certain amount of volume you need to hit a rink. Okay. So in this case, let's say you're trying to get to cloud 5, right? So cloud 5 means that, let's say so you have your cloud 3, which is only 2,000 volume, right? So we'll start with that actually. So just to get to cloud 3, you could literally do it with just one leg because you can take 100% of any single leg and that will qualify you for that rank. Okay. So that's great. And you all the way to cloud 3, perfect. With just one leg, somebody in that leg goes and buys a node and some other subscriptions, and you pretty much done it, right? You're now a cloud 3 and you're good to go, and you don't have to worry about other legs or other people building and anything. But with the cloud, with cloud 5, you now have this requirement, right, of 10,000. And at this point, okay, you now have a 70% rule. So only meaning that you can only take 70% of the strongest leg, okay, and that's what will qualify you. So you got to come up with another 3,000, okay, 3,000 from a second leg to be able to qualify for cloud 5. And then all the way up, with higher ranks, you do have to actually have a third leg because that percentage goes down from 70% to 50% down to 40%. And so therefore you've got to have at least 10% of the requirement coming from that third leg to be able to qualify. Okay. Now it sounds a little complicated, but bottom line is just build 3 legs and get them all 3 strong and you should be good to go. Okay. The other important concept, of course, is the commission periods. So we've got weekly commissions. So the period goes from Tuesday to Monday, right? So Monday night at midnight Pacific time is when the cutoff is. And then the following Friday is when you get paid, right? So it's 4 days later, basically. So pretty cool. So that is paid weekly on your front line, the 20% that you earn from your front line. That's the weekly commission. Then on the 9th of the next month, it takes the whole volume and based on the legs and everything we just talked about, and it figures out how much, what rank you got, and therefore what you're going to get paid. And that is then paid on the 9th of the following month for your entire organization on those 6 levels, depending on your rank. Okay? And it's all based on Pacific time because that's where the servers are hosted. They are in California, and so it's using Pacific time. Okay, so let's just review real quick. First way to earn is on those direct commissions. Everybody on your front line in your personal enrollment network, you're going to earn those 20%, right? So just anything they buy. You personally enroll them, anything they buy, you're getting 20% on that, right? So very simple. Doesn't matter if they're another affiliate, another associate, or a customer, you get 20% of whatever they purchase. Pretty simple. Okay. And the only qualification, again, is to have 50 personal volume yourself. Okay. Simple. All right. Now you can bump that up, right? Now, some people like this, some people hate this, but it's there. It's part of it. So we'll talk about it. But bumping it up to 30%, you can do that if you either have 500 personal volume, meaning your customers and you, right? So if you have, let's just say you got 10 customers that are buying, the Omni bundle, okay? That's 500 volume, okay? Could be you got one customer who bought a half node, right? 500 volume, boom. So this depends. There's a few ways to do that, but the idea is that we want to drive customers. Okay, so the goal is to have as many customers as possible so that you can have 500 personal volume. That's the goal. That's how we become customer friendly all right, and customer focused is by going out and getting customers, so that we can get to 500 volume personally. The other way to do it is to have 1,000 group volume from newly enrolled people. In other words, in your entire organization, your organization is to be growing. Okay, you need to be, working with your people and teaching them how to duplicate and all that stuff, so that every month on a monthly basis, you can have at least 1,000 volume from new people, right? And that could be simple as one brand new person buying a node in your entire organization, or it could be 10 new people buying an Omni Plus, whatever combination, doesn't matter, right? So 2 ways to do that. My personal preference, because it's more under my control, is I'm just going to go find enough customers to have 500 volume. Simple, right? And if that means going and getting 10 new customers who are on a Omni subscription, great. I'm going to do it. Why? Because it's going to bump up my earnings from 20% to 30%, right? Because I went and got a bunch of customers. So if you got a big enough organization over time, I think maybe the second option, 1,000 group volume from new people, shouldn't be that hard to do. Once your team's kind of going, right, and it's turned into an engine that's just growing on its own. So in the beginning, though, focus on just getting some customers, right, and get yourself to 500 personal volume with yours. Plus, and in fact, if you're on the Omni Plus, that's 100 personal. You only need 400 more, so you could go just get like five customers on the Omni normal, and you're there, right? So that one way to do it. But if that's too confusing, you don't want to worry about it for right now, that's okay. All right. Now, so you're going to go out and you're going to find Sarah, you're going to find Liam, you're going to find Monica, and you're going to get them going on, they're buying a new node or getting a mini node, whatever. And that's the goal is to get your inner circle, right? These are your ride or die people. These are, your top leaders, your generals, people that you want to work with. And hey, let's go build this Cirrus business together and just get them started, right? And work with them and teach them, remind them to be on the calls, all that kind of stuff. Okay. And then and just, work with them so they become successful, and then you'll become successful. Then we're going to stack. Okay. So we're going to take a look at the earning potential from one single position in our team building structure. And you can see the more products and services that are purchased, the more commissions are going to stack up, right? So what we got, there's you, and there's the team building structure, and you got, your first 3 people coming in, and maybe they're associate positions, and so maybe they have meeting subscription, maybe they have a safe subscription, whatever combination of things they've got, right? And then they're going to be enrolling people and so on. But look what happens. Let's say on that second level, you've got this person right there in the middle, okay? And that's an associate position, and they go and get some customers, okay? So guess what? Well, that associate position, they're doing, maybe they got the meeting, they got the safe, right? They got stacks, whatever it is. They did some travel, right? Whatever it is they're doing, they're participating, okay? And so they're producing some commissions for you as that person. But they also have customers, okay? So they're 3 customers. Let's say they got one customer that's on safe, one that's on meeting, one that's doing the bought some travel, one that's on stacks. Guess what? That one position could be worth $12 because of those customers orbiting around that one position, right? We could call it a profit center or a business center, whatever you want to call it. But that person, okay, with their customers is now producing basically $12 for you, right? That is really cool to think about, okay? So we call that stacking. And now all those different profit centers in your organization could be producing any amount, right? 8, 10, 6, 5, 9, whatever, just depending on how many customers they have and what they're purchasing themselves, because each of the different products and services add up together and give you a total. So the more customers we have, every position has unlimited earning potential. Okay. And as more products come, more people are going to choose to purchase those products, and then the revenue continues to stack, right? So that's why we call it stacking commissions. Okay. Then we got the check matching, right? And we'll just kind of dive into this a little bit more deep. And the idea is that there's no limit on this. You can enroll unlimited associates and affiliates and customers at every level. And there is no cap on how many nodes and services each person can purchase. So at Cloud 5, you now have unlocked the check matching bonus, which means you're going to earn 10% of every monthly payout on your team who isn't a Cloud 5 yet. So if Charles makes $1,000, you get 100. Okay. And so that's how powerful this is. Your first 3 associates and their first 3 associates, and it just keeps going. Okay. And all that volume, and you're getting then that 10% of all of it. On top of this is like extra on top of what we just talked about with the stacking. Okay. So it can really add up as your organization starts to grow. So you keep doing that, you keep duplicating, you rank up, and now you're going to climb all the way to the top. You're a rainmaker. Okay. You're stacking and you're matching on hundreds and even thousands of people. And we haven't even talked about the digital rewards at all, right? That's completely separate. That's a topic for different training. That is all just the cherry on top of what we just talked about tonight. So that the road is paved to the top. You just follow the system. Go get 3, help them get 3, help them get 3, help them get 3, boom, 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 boom. Keep getting more every month. Set a goal to try and enroll, 3 brand new people every month. Teach your team to do the same thing. And next thing you know, you got all these people, they're happy, they're using products and services that they like, they're saving money on, they're earning digital rewards, and you're earning 50% on the ones that you brought in personally, and nobody's leaving because they're all getting rewarded every single day, and it's exciting, right? That is why Cirrus is so enticing and so fun. So here's kind of what it looks like in a nutshell, all the way up to Rainmaker 3, kind of what you need to do. There's what I was talking about with the leg max, right? So 40% there. So you can go all the way to Cloud 9 with just 2 legs. You technically could, okay? Of course, I would recommend starting with 3 just so they start to grow evenly, and then you're good to go. If you need to get a 4th or a 5th leg, that's fine, right? Just depending on the situation. But yeah, I mean, just think how amazing it is, and it's so simple, right? I mean, it's just there's not complications in there. There's not 100 ways to earn. It's just very, very simple. And then of course you got the check matching, right? Up to 15% check matching, right, on your first generation. Once you get up here to Cloud 9 and beyond. So really cool concept and very, very powerful. Okay, so that is it, my friends. Let's go ahead and open it up to any questions. And we'll put this on speaker, or maybe gallery. There we go. Let's see. Let's open up the chat. Anybody have any questions? Put it in the chat. Unmute yourself. What do you guys think? Any questions? Anything we didn't cover? Anything you're not sure on? All right. I think we got it covered then. Oh, no.
Yeah, all right. That looks all real good.
Cool.
So appreciate you helping us understand that better.
Awesome. Glad you liked it. Okay, well, there you go. So I will get the recording of that out so you can all share it with those that need to see it and understand it. And again, this is the now money, right? That's the bottom line here is that our Cloud 9 compensation plan is for earning money next Friday. And then, of course, the digital rewards is for, just hodling, as we say in the crypto world. We're hodling those tokens because it is our hope and dream that those will go up in value over time. We've seen it already in just the almost 2 months now that they've been, actually trading and stuff. And with everything going on, we know that there's great potential for the future with that. So short term though, hey, let's go build teams. Let's go be ambassadors for Cirrus and the Gnodi blockchain, knowing that we're in good hands. We've got some amazing people at the helm with Kat Bonar and Corey Clinton and all those guys over at BlockRain, and of course on the Cirrus side with Craig and Bob and everybody else. So we're and just tonight, this meeting itself is one example of the utility of what we're talking about. All of this was done in Meetin. I was able to share my screen, record this, have plenty of space, have plenty of room for seats for people to join me, and of course, I'm getting paid 10 rewards for hosting this meeting today. So proof is in the pudding. All right, with that, we'll let you go. Thanks for jumping on tonight, and we will see you all Thursday. There's a lunch and learn, of course, and then the meeting with Bob. And then on Saturday, we'll talk about the new light paper. All right, have a good night, everybody. Thanks so much.